Can you tell us about your father and his service in the Navy?
My dad had a major influence on me. When my dad left high school, when Pearl Harbor took place on December 7th, he was 17 years old. He never finished high school. He left his senior year and enlisted in the Navy, along with millions and millions of other young men. His mother had died a year before from cancer. She had a 2-year battle with stomach cancer. And then that very next year, the war came. He had had a relationship with my mother since they were 12 years old. They were boyfriend, girlfriend, all through high school. So he had some dark days in the Navy because he was depressed about his mother's loss. He was gung-ho about being in the service and fighting for his country, and he missed my mom. But he learned a lot. I think my dad's whole life was influenced by his experience during the war. When he came home on leave, my grandmother took them up to this lake. This was in the early 40s, because she had a friend who lived on this lake. So my mom and dad came up here when they were about 18 years old and said all the things you're saying when you're in love, and they put two stakes in the ground. This is a true story. So they got married, and many years, my dad came out of the service. He had no high school education. He was a good human man, selling ice cream, ringing the bell, and my parents were struggling. And my dad said, we got to do something we can do together as a family. So we started looking for something he could do as a family. He read in the New York Times a small ad. It's a boarding house for sale in Pennsylvania. He calls his phone number, and he says, we saw this little ad, and I understand you own a boarding house in Pennsylvania. Yes, and he said, could you tell me where it is? He said, well, it's in Hawley, Pennsylvania. Rang a little bit of a bell for my dad. And he said, is there any water around or anything? Oh, yes, it's on Lake Tinneyaskong. So she said, Mary, it's on Lake Tinneyaskong. We went up with your mother and we put the stake in the ground. So we heard that in March, and we bought it in April. So what influence did the military have? He wanted to marry my mom. They took him up to this lake, and then he was away in the service. They did get married. Years later, they were looking for a place we could build a family, and we found out there was Lake Tinneyaskong, and we came up to look and bought it for $40,000. The rest is history.
What inspired you to follow in your father's footsteps?
Well, my dad was a very strong influence on me. I always wanted to make him proud. I was born in 1946, so the first of the war babies. All through the 40s and the 50s and even into the early 60s, almost every movie you went to involved the war and heroes and all the different challenges that would take place during that time, so I grew up on it. And my dad was very proud that he had served, and I was proud of him for serving. So I always knew that I wanted to be in the service. So I took the test and was accepted in Officers Candidate School, OCS, for the Navy. I was trained as a line officer, probably riverboat going to Vietnam. 1 week before I left for Vietnam, I got a letter saying, we're changing your orders. We are now sending you to Norfolk, Virginia, and you're going to run the Officers Club. I was 22 years old. I had a lot of people under me, probably about 100. Some of them were military people, some of them were civilians, and I learned a lot in those early years, trying to lead by example. I've always been a person who gets his hands dirty and gets mingled in with all the people that are doing the work. I treated people just like I would want to be treated. If I wasn't the leader and I was underneath, that's the way I would want to be treated. We followed that golden rule basically in all of our businesses forever since we took over Woodloch. We try and treat every single person the way we would like to be treated. It's a simple formula. It just makes so much sense, and it works.
How's the Woodloch community, staff and guests, shown appreciation for veterans over the years?
Well, for years we've had special discounts for veterans and first responders. We donated lots of money to different charities and organizations, but the Folds of Honors is our favorite right now. This is an organization that helps the families that have lost their member of their family in battle or got wounded so badly they need help. They need financial help. So it's been a great organization, and we're very involved in that. We have golf tournaments, we do fundraisers. We give back in any way we possibly can. Memorial Day, we honor the people that didn't come back from all the various wars, all the men and women who served in the armed forces, who made the ultimate sacrifice. Without them, we would not have the opportunities that we have in America. I was 22 years old, and a lot of my friends didn't come back. But without them, who knows where this country would be. And we certainly would not have had the opportunities that we've had as a family to start a business from nothing and build it up and make it something special that hopefully makes the world a better place. So, Memorial Day, we take our hats off and we salute and we honor all those people that gave their lives. And it's a special day. We should never forget it. And the wars continue, and the men doing this service, the men and women in our armed services continue to sacrifice all over the world. So, they deserve to be honored, everybody, living and dead.